Hey, this is Kathleen Howell, and I am out at a dog park in Asheville, North Carolina, to get people's reaction to the statement, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. Sorry, this is the statement, and I want your reaction to it.
Okay.
If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
All right? If you're not paying attention, or if you are?
If you are paying attention, you're
are
less likely to be outraged.
less likely to be outraged. What about you?
Yeah, I would have to think a little more about that.
Kind of the same. It
Yeah.
depends on what you're paying attention to. Like the state of the world, oh yeah, that drives me absolutely bonkers. But, you know,
Right?
I'm not outraged with her running around being a weirdo,
Yeah.
but I'm
yeah.
paying attention to her. So.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anything else to add?
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
Well, this is the statement.
Okay,
If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. I just want your reaction to that.
that feels true.
You feels true?
Yeah.
Works for you.
Yep.
All right. Ty, what do you think?
She
Are
agrees.
you outraged? Statement is, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. What do you think about that? Do you have a feeling or thought of it about it?
Because I'm sure there's always something to be outraged about on both sides of whatever thinking you're on.
Right?
And I'm somewhat on the left and I'm somewhat on the right, and then I'm somewhere in the middle, and so
Sure. How about
Yeah.
you? What do you think?
I concur mostly with what she says.
Okay.
I'm married to her,
All right. Well, I understand.
so she's
get it.
always right.
I get it.
You
I
know,
get it.
yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I am too easily outraged. But you know, I find myself swinging more to the left
yeah.
because I don't agree with the woke business
Uh-huh.
to a lot of degrees.
Sure.
But I also don't agree with the hysterics on
Yeah.
the other side either.
Right.
So, truly, I'm a meditator also,
Mhm.
and I try to see God in everyone and everything.
Right.
And when I'm there, then I'm at peace and I'm recognizing the truth, the ultimate truth. So there really is nothing to worry about.
Okay. So the statement is this: if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. What do you think?
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why? Why? What makes you say that?
Because nothing that's going on right now is small at
Okay.
all. And it
Sure.
needs severe attention.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I definitely think it needs severe attention.
Yeah?
It's,
Nothing
Yeah.
is small right now.
No.
Yeah.
It's all huge. It's big. It hits home. Everything does.
Yeah.
It's out of control. So yeah.
Yeah. Like in.
I mean, I don't know what you're referring to
yeah.
specifically, but
I'm
but
referring to
me,
anything. Really.
I'm
It could
looking
be
at the
anything.
world. I'm a
world.
mother.
Yeah.
I'm terrified to raise my daughter in the
Yeah.
way the world is right now.
I hear you. I
So-
hear you. Mine's are raised. Mine's I got a 23-year-old and a 18. So
see, nice.
I'm blessed.
I have a 12-year-old, and
Yeah.
her eyes are wide open, and I am outraged
Yeah.
at what she is picking up
Yeah.
from everything,
I hear you.
everywhere.
You got a second to answer a question on a YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to know what you think about this statement. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.
Everyone has their different opinions, and everyone's opinions matter, and your opinions matter, and that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that statement a lot because I feel like it expresses how you're feeling, and maybe how other people are feeling too.
I want to know what you think about the statement. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.
I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that there can be a certain sense of somberness instead of outrage that can overcome you when it comes to whatever kind of
Right.
issue that you're worried about. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay. What about you?
I mean, I piggyback off of that. There's many different emotions other than outrage, you know?
Yeah.
More kind of like subtle things, or you could be more than outraged, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like, and what kinds of things do you think, get people worked up like that?
politics and religion.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah,
two
yeah.
that, come straight to mind.
Right. For
So,
sure.
yeah.
All right. Got anything else to add?
No?
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you. Just doing a YouTube channel thing here.
Sure. Oh my goodness.
You're gonna be famous right here. This is it.
Oh wait.
Yeah. I only hope that a lot of people will see this. Right. I'm trying. Yeah. So the statement is this: if you're not outraged, you may have seen this before on like a bumper sticker or something. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. So I just want. What's your thoughts about that? Feelings, whatever.
Oh my goodness. I was so not ready to get deep and philosophical today. Right. If you're not outraged,
you're not paying attention.
It can be taken in so many ways by so many camps. That very statement could be interpreted by one, group of people completely different from another group of people or tribe or whatever. And so for me, I mean, I guess the issues that come up, what comes up mostly is, I think there's a lot of unawareness in this world today, and that we all need to be more aware and paying attention. And I try to ask myself several times every day, are you in the moment? Are you paying attention right now? Right. And that's important to me.
How about you?
Oh, well.
Did you have time to think of something?
Yeah,
just
a little bit. Well, I was just, when of course we're going to be outraged, if we're paying attention, but then comes a sense of futility too. I mean, I'm 66 now, and we were outraged when I was a teenager, when I was 20, when I was 30, right. And we tried hard to change things, and here we still are, and it's just worse than ever. Yeah. So now it's like, I'm going to do what I can, but now I'm going to sit back and enjoy life and do as much good as I can where I can. Yeah. Because it's like, what else can I do? What can I do? I've done all that I feel like I can do, and it's not any better.
Well, you do what you can do, right? You're small. I mean, it's good to do something, but you can't do everything.
Right. So if I see something I can get involved in, I do.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Wouldn't it be great to be like a dog? You're like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I think the smaller dogs are, the less afraid they are. I know. That is my dog right there, making all the noise, and she is afraid of everything. This dog would probably scare her half to death. Here's the statement.
Okay.
If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.
Correct. There's a lot to be outraged over, man. So in addition to having less rights than I do dead, than I do alive, then you also have to think about everything else that other people are going through right now.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for contributing. You're not famous yet?
No, not yet.
This is going to do it for you right here. My name's Kathleen, and I'm just getting people's reactions to the statement, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.
It depends on how you use it.
Yeah. So, like, what are some things you think, people get outraged about?
Politics.
Yeah.
Environment, and really current events in general.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's true, but at the same time, we have plenty of people who would argue against the outrage itself.
So, like, for your own life, like, have you had times when you've been more outraged or less, or do you just kind of approach things kind of chill?
I feel like the more I know, the more outraged I can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to be chill if you don't know shit.
So ignorance is bliss, then.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, it is good to be back with you on Sinless with Kathleen Howell, and I am just not outraged today. I'm actually feeling pretty good, and I am paying attention, but I'm not outraged. This whole thing that we were doing, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention, thing on a bumper sticker 25 years ago probably. But then I was reminded of it from a fellow YouTuber not too long ago. And I thought, wow, I haven't heard that statement in a long time. And they were playing somebody's, video where they were outraged, the person was. And so anyway, they were commenting on that. So it brought it back up to my mind. So I thought, hey, I'm going to do a video about that. That would be fun to go out and see what people think about that. So basically, is it good? I think people agreed it's good to be outraged at some things, right? Like, you know, sex trafficking, heinous murder, the current price of a movie ticket, or how about dogs that will never shut up? I have personal interest in that. But seriously, right? You know, none of us, I don't think anybody that's not psychotic doesn't think we should not be upset about anything, right? But to what end? And is it good to live there? Is it good to dwell in that, right? And I'll tell you, there is a lot of injustice in a fallen world. I mean, that's the world we live in. It's not going to change. But what I found is living in a constant state of fear or anger is not good. Not cool. Not cool. A few years ago, a lot of years ago, okay, because I was listening to, get ready for it. Yes, I know that some of you young people don't even know what that is. My goodness, I mean, your phone has everything you need, right? It was like how I got my information. I was young, you know, I was angry, and it was a lot of the primary source of noise, It was a primary source of noise. News also, right? But it was a thing. It was this thing that you could turn on in like this little box, and you could, like, I used to carry them around when I was younger. You know, we had boom boxes and all that. Really, I'm really old, right? Back in the dinosaur era. Some of you even have car radios. You still have them in your cars. Now, I think they still do put radios in cars, but now we've got the Bluetooth. You just plug your phone up to it, right? You don't even have to listen to the radio. You just put your phone in and you play whatever you want, right? That's what I do most of the time, actually. So nothing against that. But back then, that was the primary source of like news and information, besides your TV, right? And so I would listen to that, but it would make me, you know, the relevant news and the kind of political shows and things like that would just make me angry. Like, I would get angry, and also fearful, because there were a lot of predictions about, you know, oh no, the end of the world's coming, it's going to be this bad, and all, you know, World War III and everything else. And you just kind of can get wrapped up in it. And I think we do this now still, right? We just have the podcast or the video, you know, the YouTubes, and then the people call up. I mean, not call up. That was the radio. No, people will just rant with their fingers now, or, you know, with the phone. We're ranting. And we're talking about how I don't agree with whatever is happening, whatever the person is saying, or I do agree, or we're arguing with the people in the little chat going down. So, and here we're hoping maybe if we give enough money, they'll bump us to the front and they'll ask our question, you know, in their show or whatever. And so it's a fun day, right? It's a fun time. But back then, you know, it was pretty much the same kind of stuff. People getting upset, people ranting. They could just do it on the phone, you know. Whereas now we do it with our fingers. But it's all the same, right? It's all the same thing because sometimes we just get so angry about these things, you know. We're going in traffic and we're angry at the drivers around us, or we're coming home and we're snapping at our spouses or our dog or whatever, cat, you know. They're just taking a nap and we're yelling at them because we're all fired up. You know, we're all outraged, you know, and sometimes it's good to be outraged, like over injustice, because there's things happening that are wrong, you know, like we said earlier. And, you know, we saw a lot of protests. A couple of the older ladies were commenting about how when they were young, and it was probably around the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, late 60s, early 70s, that these ladies were probably young. And they were... you know, they were probably part of some of the civil rights protests or the protest about, you know, Vietnam or whatever, what have you. But, you know, they said in the end, you know, what did we accomplish? Well, civil rights, you know, that accomplished much, right? That was good. Vietnam, we ended up leaving because popular opinion turned so strongly against it. So, I guess, that was a good thing. Ultimately, not so good for Vietnam, the part that was, trying not to be taken over by communists. Not so good for them. But we got our young people back over here and stopped sending them over. But the point is, should we be constantly, getting ourselves involved in that kind of frustration? Are you so frustrated with what's going on around you that it's hard to enjoy yourself when you're with your friends or your family? You're at a party and you start arguing with your uncle about, politics or religion or something. Is that the way you want to live? And what I decided for me personally was, no, it is not. Now again, should I be upset about some things? Yes. You probably should too. But is your anger solving the problems of the world, right? We want to put our energies towards something that's going to solve something that's going to go towards getting somewhere, right? Not just be angry for the sake of it, just to fuss at somebody. And I want to ask you, have you ever thought about it? Some will refer to Jesus as a social justice warrior. Now, I can agree with that in some ways, okay? He did kind of, rage against the machine, so to speak, at the religious elite, right? I mean, he had a few choice words for them in more than one occasion. And he got angry when the temple was being used, just all this buying and selling, and he didn't feel like it was honoring, his father's house. He was outraged. He was outraged at the Pharisees who would say, do all these things like we say, but not like we do, because we're not really doing them. We're not really consistent. We're hypocritical. But look at us, aren't we holy? And then they turned around and called Jesus, who was actually doing good things, healing people, saving people, compassionate, caring, and they would call him a devil for doing, the things he did. So Jesus was outraged about that, and he spoke about it on more than one occasion. But again, gosh, was he taking on the Romans? I mean, there were Jews at the time. There were zealots who were part of these kind of, like we have today, political groups that were angry, and they were trying to take on the injustices of the world. We're gonna stamp out this bad treatment from the Romans. Well, they didn't succeed. Jesus' mind, right, his mission was single-minded. He was single-minded. He knew why he was here. And so now when he returns, he will stamp out injustice. But that mission, his first visit here on this earth, right, that was not his mission. Jesus said, my peace I leave with you. Before he left the earth, before he ascended to heaven, he said, my peace I leave with you. Peace not as the world offers, right? Well, that peace, we think of peace, hey man, peace, love you, bro. It's a wholeness. It's a centeredness. That peace is shalom. And that means much more than just, hey man, chill, like cool. It's really much more than that Hebrew. So Jesus was offering his peace, his well-being, his wholeness to those who would follow him. And like I said, he didn't really fight the system. His kingdom, as he told Pontius Pilate, was not of this world. It is not of this world. He will come back and he will establish his kingdom eventually. But again, first time around, not of this world. And we Christians, those of us who are Christians, we are in the world, but we're not of it. But I think the main thing I'm trying to bring out in this video is make a difference where you're called to. But don't live your life in anger and frustration. Play a part. Fight injustice. But don't let it consume you, because you'll never be at rest. Do what you can in your circle of the world. One of the things my husband and I laugh at is, we look at social media and there are people having requests for somebody's friends, cousins, uncles, buddies, best friends, sisters, colon cancer. And it's like, oh my goodness, like I'm supposed to pray for this. I don't even know. I couldn't remember the list. You know, it reminds me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he's like, you know, Bueller, and then.
Bueller?
He's sick. My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid is going with the girl who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night. I guess it's pretty serious.
Thank you, Simone.
It's crazy, right? Thank you, Simone. I love that. Thank you, Simone. Can't keep up with what you just said, but thanks. And I feel like that with you know, the prayer request and so forth. You know, it's fine if that person is in your circle of the world, because 100 years ago, you would have never known about it. And the people that lived around that person, they would have been praying. And that's fine, right? So I think God wants us to focus on where we live, our circles, where we move and live and have our being, you know, work, you know, church, fellowship groups, whatever we're in, you know, athletic teams, whatever, what schools, you know, where we live, okay? Let's be concerned. Let's run for office if we're called, you know? Let's do these things, but let's not get crazy about it and ruin our lives and those around us by being constantly angry, constantly outraged. Let's not just get upset. Let's do something about it. Let's ask God, hey, what can I do about this? What small part or large part can I play? And then be at rest, you know? Come and find rest from the giver of life. You know, he's not happy with injustice, and he will stamp it out eventually. And I take heart in that, and you should too. Really take heart in the fact that God, he sees it all, and he will stamp it out. But right now, this is a time of grace, and let's give that to each other. Let's receive that ourselves and give it to each other. Let's pray for each other. Let's help each other be healed. Let's work together against the wrong things that are happening around us and live in peace.